Welcome to the latest episode of Keister, the World Talk Show. I am your beautiful host, Keister. And this month, we're honoring the incredible women of Sierra Leone. Today, I am thrilled to introduce our special guest, a successful businesswoman who holds the title of Managing Director at Elba Group. Stay tuned to find out her name right after this commercial break.
Let's watch The Real Talk with Edleen TV show. By our very own daughter of Sierra Leone, Edleen Keister.
Welcome back to Edleen Keister, the World Talk Show. Of course, I'm celebrating women, and I am proud and honored to have invited this special lady who happens to be a sister friend of mine here on my show. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Edleen Elba. Welcome, Edleen. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so Edleen and I grew up, right? Because I'm Edleen and she's Edleen. Most of the time people, they call me Edleen. I could look at her and say, I'm not Edleen, I'm Edleen. And then, of course, I'm pretty sure they can call you Edleen sometimes.
They do.
They do all the time. But anyways, I mean, you're doing a lot. You know, this month, what I'm doing is basically just giving props. I do have women on my show, but this one is particularly to women that are doing really good. I've had different people, and of course, your field is different. I see Facebook. I see the grumble, you know, and everything else that is happening when it has to do with work, customer service, human resources. But the experts didn't answer because me knows the experts in the answer, and definitely we go talk. But let's talk about your journey. She's from London, y'all.
No.
Yeah, she's from London. You came, I think, a year before me, right?
I came in 2002.
Right. So basically, she's been here. And I remember when I wanted to move to Sierra Leone, she probably doesn't remember the story. She was like the only person I knew that was in Sierra Leone. I mean, that's how the email, when I got all this social media thing and all that, we just email, all that email Edleen, like, find job for me, find job for me. Like, you just remember, you know, that's how far we go. It's like, find a job. It's like, job no there, Edleen. How would they look? Say I can't salon, and now I'm doing this. I actually came to work, but now I'm doing something different. However, why did you move to Sierra Leone from England?
So when I left here in 1995, it was to go and study and come back.
Okay.
And I told myself it was going to be a year and a half. Ended up being 7.5 years, mainly because of the war.
Okay.
So they had the first elections after the war in 2002. And I basically followed the elections online. And as soon as they finished, I told my family I was leaving, and they thought I was joking. I gave myself, because I think it happened in May, and I told everyone I was leaving in December, and I worked towards it and left.
Just like that?
Yep. I never wanted to stay in the UK. It was not part of the plan.
That was not, okay. Now you're here, and of course, you know, you have Elba Group, which is the big company. You know, but you started, of course, with job search, because that's your background. I know you're like, you have titles such as you're a chartered global management accountant and a chartered human resources analyst. Break that down. Because I know you have human resources and, of course, accountants and things like that. But both, like you do both. I never knew that.
All right. So basically, when I went to study, it was actually management accounting. And I started and ended up finishing back here when I moved back, because I just stopped studying and just worked until I moved back. Started working with KPMG and finished with KPMG, so the course with KPMG. I went back to the UK for a year, did that, and came back. Now, by the time I actually finished the CIMA, which is the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, I didn't even want to be an accountant anymore. But because I had started it, I decided to finish.
Okay.
But by then I was already interested in human resources, because when I moved back, I realized basically that people from abroad didn't really have anywhere to go if they were looking for jobs.
Right.
So that's how job search really came about.
Okay.
When I moved back, I just made a mental note. Okay, we need to start, like, have a platform or something that people can, you know, look on for jobs. And then as I worked at KPMG, I grew an interest basically in human resources. And they didn't have an HR department or a person dedicated to HR.
Oh, wow.
So as I grew into that role and, you know, understood what it was about, and I asked basically if I could set up the department, and they said yes. So I did that, and that's basically how I got into human resources. Did a few courses, strategic HR management, the chartered HR analyst course, and basically now I do both.
Okay.
And so Job Search basically started off as a recruitment firm, but it's now a full human resources management company.
Okay.
And because of the management accounting background, which basically is like an MBA, I'm able to manage my companies with those skills.
With those skills. That's great. That's really great. How many people have you given jobs? How many people, basically, in other words? Yeah, because I'm curious, because people say there are no jobs at all, but then, of course, you have Job Search, and I know people are still grumbling, but for you, Edleen, and your team, your group, how many people?
So it's very difficult to say how many people per se we've put in employment, because we've been doing this since 2007. What I can say to you is like thousands of people have actually gone through Job Search in terms of sending their CVs in, sending them in for interviews, some being placed, training as well, because we do training. We have a particular one that's called Employee of Choice, which we designed, and we used to do a free one every quarter for like 20 people, which we've kind of put on hold for now, but we're also trying to review the curriculum so we can do it again. But in terms of there not being jobs, employers are always looking for people.
Okay.
Right? Because people move around anyway.
Right.
So there's always going to be vacancies within certain companies. But then it's also difficult to fill some of those roles because we don't have sufficient skilled people for the roles.
Okay, so that's...
So a lot of people looking for work wouldn't get jobs if they don't have the skills that the employers are looking for. And the employers are also not able to fill some of their roles because they don't have the people.
Right, but so, I mean, well, what's the issue in the way? Because, like overseas, we're fortunate where you fresh from college, you're able to get a job, through experience and things like that. So now these people have gone to school, they graduate. I mean, they expected to learn on the job. So we don't have people like that are able to actually, employ them to say, okay, train here or something like that.
So they do. I mean, there are graduate roles.
Okay.
There's a lot of internships going on as well, where people actually go in and get the experience. And then some of them are lucky enough to get placed after the internship period.
Okay.
Unfortunately, some of them don't either because, one, there aren't that many vacancies within the establishment, or they themselves haven't passed whatever performance management system is in place at that establishment. However, I mean, during the education process, most of the institutions have internships as part of it. So people would probably do a month up to 3 months, depending on the institution they're coming from.
Okay.
However, because the education system really isn't where it should be, the quality of graduates as well coming out aren't that good.
Right.
So you would have, a few, which would be the best of the best, and they would get placed easily. And then the others would struggle a bit, go through the internships for years. But then also, there really aren't sufficient jobs in the country anyway, because, I mean, the formal part of the private sector is probably about just 10% of, it's just 10%, and the informal is about 90%. Wow. So the people who are actually hiring are like this much.
This small, right.
Right? And that includes us, the small and medium companies as well. So really, there aren't that many jobs.
Okay. All right, well, we know this, it's happening, but of course she's already explained of the reason why, because we know, especially at graduate levels, I think I remember on Facebook where people claim to have graduated and then they post the captions, they barely even start writing, even English.
Yep.
You understand? And we all they think are like, this just graduates college.
Yep.
Now you not even know how to spell even the graduation,
right,
and things like that. So I mean, the education level don't drop a little bit, because even with me, I did talk and say, we will go school. They tell me we go school. I think I can say now we get the best education. Everyone else is easy, because even with the schools, you talk to the kids, all they're saying is, it's either I give money or I go don't forget me degree.
Which is really sad.
It's very, very sad. But anyways, don't go anywhere because I'll be right back after this commercial break.
Small businesses are not small. They keep you pumped. They keep you learning. They keep you healthy. They keep you stylish. They keep you fed. Happy birthday to you. They keep you smiling. We can do all of this because they keep us moving. At UBA, we keep your small business moving because your business is big business. Ready to get moving?
Welcome back to Edleen Keister, the Royal Talk Show. If you just walked in, I have the beautiful Edleen Elba, the Managing Director for Elba Group. Yes, if I'm to Idris Elba, no, Pastor Aska, welcome back, Edleen. I brought this up because we were at the event and something like you were having a conversation about Idris Elba, and I think you mentioned, say, Idris said, always ask us, say, do you know Edleen Elba or something like that? So I'd ask you now.
Yes.
What's the relation between you and Idris?
So growing up, we always thought Elba was a very small family because we didn't really know that many Elbas. My dad knew the ones he grew up with, and that was it. And then now I know the family is massive. And I met my cousin Kippy on Facebook, and we found out we were related. Her mom is an Elba. And we made the connection with Newton and what have you. And she grew up with Idris. So they're first cousins. And obviously we made the connection now that we're related as well. So when he was getting married and she was invited, she asked if she could bring me along. And he was like, sure. So just as they bought tickets for the rest of the family, they bought my ticket.
Yes, okay.
They bought my ticket, and we went to Marrakesh and, stayed at the hotel, met a lot of family members I didn't know. And, when he saw me, he was like, oh, Edleen, finally. Because Kippy had talked about me so much. Yes. Okay. So when he came this last time, we met at an event, and he was like, everybody keeps asking me, do you know Edleen? Do you know Edleen? And I'm like, yeah, everybody keeps asking me, you're related to Idris.
That's cool. I want to be cousins with a star, a bigger star, because I'm a star too. I want to be cousins with a bigger star. Right?
Well, it's a bit of an issue right now because everybody is reaching out to me about the project. I know nothing about the project. Everybody wants to do something.
Because I was going to say, after the show, Mr. Wankona, if I say, this Shabro Island business, how Mr. Able come in.
Yeah.
So you just burst my bubble right there.
Somebody's even saying, I can get funding. I'm like, we have projects, we need funding.
Cool. No, I don't know. Yes, that's the relationship. Talk about Idris and being in the creative world. Edleen, I can't talk this part. Edleen came to Sierra Leone, and before she started doing all of this, she was a manager, one of the managers for Jungle Leaders. So she was actually in the entertainment field.
Yes.
That was weird. Like when I found out, I think I found out through my cousin Ami. Mm-hmm. Ami, we were having a conversation. It's like, oh, Edleen, I see you to do this. Oh, me, Edleen, I'm the manager. I said, you and what? Huh?
Yes.
How did that come about?
So, Sanira, my friend, we were both interested in event management, like right from the start.
Okay.
And Box of Cal Box asked us to do Miss Old School when Mohamed Kalon opened the club.
Okay.
So we did the beauty pageant Miss Old School in 2004. And because they had all these artists, DX3 and Jungle Leaders, all of them used to hang around all the time. In fact, the theme song for Miss Old School was a DX3 song, Salongyal.
Okay.
Yeah, they're freaky.
That was a theme song for. I thought it was just a regular single.
No, so when they came to give Box a listen, we were like, we want that song for the show. So the intro dance was to that song, and the
Okay.
girls were in their video.
Okay.
Yes. So after that, Box was like, you all just got along with the artists so much and what have you. Why don't you just manage them?
Okay.
So we did that. That's how that came about.
How long did it last for?
Probably about a year. It was hectic. It was very hectic. Coming from work and going to old school almost every day. Going with the guys to the East, clubbing because they had to perform, going to Milton Magai, going everywhere, and trying to get money out of Mohamed Kalon for the events and things. Oh, it was hectic. It was a lot.
And you were like, I'm not doing this anymore.
But it was fun.
It's really fun. Anything has to do with it is really fun. Like, especially the hanging out, the chilling. But it gets tiring, though.
Working with creatives is just like...
Yeah, you got to be. It's a lot. You got to be up there. But now you're in this HR field. How many HR agencies do we have?
Oh, there are quite a lot of HR firms. Some do only recruitment.
Okay.
Some do the full suite. So and then you have consultants as well. So the main companies, I probably would say there are about 5 of them.
In the country.
And then, that I know of. Mm-hmm. And then you have like others who just do either just recruitment or are consultants.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people in this space doing the work.
So the Institute of Human Resources Sierra Leone, you launched it 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. So how is it different from, so Elba, I'm assuming Elba Group is the parent group and then you have all of these different things? No. Or they're like separated?
So the Institute of Human Resources is not mine. It's a body. It's supposed to be a regulatory body in the future. Mm-hmm. For now, it's a body basically that we started. So a group of us, HR professionals, started it so that we can basically improve the quality of human resources and then use that to advocate as well for the labor space and things like that. So it's not mine.
Okay, so it's, okay.
Yes,
so it's just a group of you
So
guys.
we started that 4 years ago. It's been a bit of a challenge, as with a lot of like associations and, groups, to actually get off the ground. We recently had an event, which was a really good one, where we got the Minister of Labour to come in and talk to us about what's happening in the space.
Okay.
And we were able to now sign up even more members into the Institute. And we're waiting till after Ramadan for us to have a general meeting and chart out the way forward.
Okay, so is that the digital conference that you had or is something different?
So the digital conference is Elba.
Okay.
And it's basically our second event for women. So last year we had the breakfast for women in business. And we had 100 women in a room, which was such a beautiful event. And we talked about collaboration. What are some of the strategies that we can use to collaborate better as women in business? Mm-hmm. And,
Is that the one for your birthday?
Yes, exactly.
That was
it. Yeah, exactly.
I just thought about it, it was really cool.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? So, yes. So as I was thinking, what do we do this year? I thought I was listening to a podcast and there was this lady who is actually one of the guest speakers and she was talking about the digital space. And I was like, actually, that's a good one. We can do digital her. So just, find out as women, what are some of the skills we should be learning?
Right.
So if you're a woman who wants to go into tech, what should you be learning? What's in now? If you're a woman in business, what are some of the things that you should be learning in order for you to be able to do your business better? Mm-hmm. What are some of the digital solutions that are out there for better business? Mm-hmm. And then also, what is the government's digital agenda? And, how can they help us do better business? Because right now, the frustrations are everything is so manual. And especially if you're, dealing with government services, even the ones like the NRA that are actually digital now, are not working that well. Mm-hmm. So there's still a lot of frustration. So what are the plans, for better internet, for,
Definitely.
Service delivery and things like that? So that's what we'll be doing at the Digital Her, which is mainly an online conference anyway. So you can just click the link and have it in the background and, pick up a few bits.
And it's free?
Exactly. Yes, absolutely.
So is that the one you posted about?
Yes.
So this is it, right? She posted on Facebook. She's like, I'm not doing any events that require sponsorship and all that. you know, now go comments. Now you know I make come up events business. Well, I mean,
it is very frustrating.
Right. I was gonna say, but
the-
something like this, you would think everybody would come on board to kind of support.
No. So we normally do the National Youth Employment and Entrepreneurship Fair.
Right.
And for that one, you get a lot of sponsors coming in. In fact, they call you and they want to be a part of it because it's a government event. So everybody wants to see, you know, have their names on it and, you know, all of that and have their relationships and all. And we provide pro bono services for that. But when we're doing our own events, then now it's just us, poor little Elba. I mean, who are you?
Hold that thought right there. Don't go anywhere because I'll be right back after this commercial break.
Doro World Traveler. How is your Miami vacation going?
Fine, babe. I'll be back next week and I've bought you a lot of things.
Well, I hope the designer bag you promised is included. No excuse this time.
That expensive bag? Babe. I am now in Malaysia.
UBA cards work from Moscow to Malaysia, from Malaysia to Miami. Bros, you can't escape this time.
Hell. Babe, are you there? I can't hear you again, oh. Your line is breaking. Hello? Hello? Wherever you travel in the world, don't go without your UBA card. UBA, Africa's global bank.
I am still here. Welcome back to Edleen Keister, the Royal Talk Show. If you just walked in, I have Edleen Elba, the CEO, Managing Director, everything for Elba Group. Anyways, welcome back, Edleen. Welcome. Before we went on the break, we were talking about the post I saw on Facebook about sponsorship. And I'm thinking with the digital conference, like, it was something that somebody, you know, could have really, well, not one person, but everybody could have, you know, came on board and done it. But like you're saying, when you did the other with the government, everybody was calling you, and this one, to continue with the story.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been really difficult. We started it planning in December and reached out to, you know, a few companies that we thought have digital services or products and they'll be interested in what have you. We ended up with 5 sponsors, not a lot of money, but by the time we ended up with them anyway, we'd already changed the format of the event.
Okay.
Because what we were trying to do initially was have it at Miata Conference and have about 500 people in the room. Miata Conference wasn't going to be ready by now, so we decided, you know what, we'll have a smaller venue, have a few people in the room and take the rest of it online. So which meant the cost really was the marketing and the production, and then food for the few people.
For the people that were showing.
Yes,
Right.
so the budget came down and we were able to do it with the few sponsors that we got. But I'm really excited about it. I mean, I'm always excited about my events and they always turn out well, thank God. So, you know, I'm not worried about anything about it. I'm good.
But you're going to continue doing it? Still going after the
So I will
sponsors?
I'll do I'm sure I'll definitely do different types of events, but the model obviously needs to be looked at because people need to pay to come to these things.
I mean, because they'll only take you seriously when they pay. You know,
Right.
like you say, anything are free, we know they take us serious. So maybe, even if it's not a lot, but maybe like a small fee, and maybe, you know, that will help also towards the marketing and everything else that
Exactly.
you were doing.
Exactly.
But I think it's really cool. I mean, that, you know, you guys are really trying to help in that space. And also, you know, I'll go back to Facebook because Edleen, if you follow Edleen Elba on Facebook, she's always ranting about something. This is the part I didn't mention when she's like, what are we going to talk about? I didn't mention that part. You know, so you in Sierra Leone. Look at you in Sierra Leone. As much as you're here, I feel like you guys are at war because there's always something. Edleen's grumbling about something all the time. Some keep funny, I had to go comment, some I could just, Mr. Kizzo, when they're like, what happened again? And the last time was an issue about customer service, which is like your part as well. I want you to, you know, kind of not talk about that particular incident, but the whole thing about customer service. I mean, how are we doing as far as customer service? Because you had a horrible experience. You couldn't help it, but you had to just talk about it, which, of course, the company reached out to you and everything else. But customer service, like, how far are we? What do you think you guys can really do to kind of help? Because that's a major problem.
So I think just as we have mindset issues across the country, I mean, you can't expect institutions to have different mindsets completely from the rest of the country. I mean, people try and they do as much as they can in terms of training. But a lot of times it's not even training. It's just about how people are feeling and them not being able to express themselves in better ways.
Okay.
So, case in point, you know, the incidents with me, and she yelled at me. And I'm sure she was going through whatever it was she was going through. And she didn't know how to separate the two. So she was frustrated that she'd been trying to call me and, you know, I didn't get the call. So as far as she was concerned, I wasn't picking up the call. And she wasn't thinking this is a customer. I shouldn't be yelling at them. She's just taking her frustration out on me, right? And this is what I see happening all the time. I mean, even before I came here, I went to pick up my ID cards. And, you know, they were like, oh, you know, Uste, you get the message.
The message.
Yesterday. Oh, naina the paxo. Okay, so when, you know, wait. So I said, no, let me decide if I wait or not. How long is it going to be?
It's going to take, exactly.
I just know you get a message. No, yesterday. Oh, well, look. And I'm thinking, if I'm somebody who's scared to talk to people, you're already intimidating me with all of this.
Right.
All I'll do is just go and sit down and wait. But no, I have somewhere to go. I have things to do. And I'm an adult. Like, please, you just tell me, is it going to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Is it going to be tomorrow?
Like, right. Let me know so I can figure myself out. Right.
And she's not being rude. She's just being herself. That's how she knows how to talk to people.
Did you say anything other than just really about the time? Because I know you.
No. That was it. I just put my bag down on the table and I was smiling and just asking the questions. And then she said, let me see the message. And I showed her the message. And then she said, oh, I think it's in the cupboard. She looked in the cupboard and it was there. It wasn't even the ones they were packing. So
you got in, you're good.
I got my cards and I'm
So you just kind of, woosah.
Yes. For the most part, that's what I do.
That's what you do most of the time?
Most of the time, I don't lose my cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And before we go on this break, you know, I'll bring up the Awoga thing. That's another thing. Proud Awogan. But because of this whole thing about this, I think it was the hijab, the religious tolerance and everything else, she kind of, you know, just said, you know what, you guys do you, I'm in my corner and everything else. She blasted them, basically. But you went to Annie Walsh. You know Annie Walsh. Well, I didn't go there, by the way. I went to the best school, St. Joseph's Convent. I made them go sing Paris. And I see you post about for say, yes, now this will teach you now. I was like, yes, Edleen. Now in school you go, but you know, so this is rudeness. Yeah, I was happy. But anyways, for me, I feel like you already know that's what they do or what's going on. I mean, what's the difference? Why all of a sudden you feel like, oh, it shouldn't be this way? Like they should not, allow people to wrap up and go matching or whatever the situation is.
Okay, so there was a time where people could, you know, tie their heads and wear their hats on top of their heads and wear long dresses. We've seen pictures of it.
Okay.
Where people have covered up nicely and gone to the Thanksgiving service and marched. So I don't understand what all of this is, but it wasn't even about the Thanksgiving. I mean, we were not even there yet. It was a torchlight walk and they put the dress code and said no hijab. For me, that was like, whoa. It was shocking. Because you're going to a torchlight walk. How does that affect anything about the school? Like people are adults. People should be able to wear what they want to wear. It's not a uniform, right? And if you have a dress code, how does the hijab disturb your dress code?
Okay.
So now they're talking about standards and values. You have papi show. You wear whatever you want to wear to papi show. And you dance how you want to dance at papi show. Like how? Like what are the Christian values about that? You know, so for me, it was just like, I'm confused. I'm absolutely confused. Like, why not allow people to come to these events wearing what they feel they should wear? Because for me, you know, the main issue I think right now is just that as women, we have a lot of work to do, right? We're nowhere near where we want to be collectively as women. And if we keep creating all these divides, then the cause is getting even harder because we're excluding women ourselves, right? So we, the women, are excluding women. And we need the women for the development.
For the development, but then we're still
Right. So all these things, you know, this is small, Danny, waiting, Danny no born, Danny no married, Danny. I mean, it's like, it's exhausting.
It is very exhausting.
It really is. So
that's why I just do me.
my issue. You know, I feel like everybody just needs to come together and
just make it work, make it happen, and do. That's why I do me. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready. Don't get it work, because I'm right back after this commercial break.
Hi, I am Leo, a super geek who's obsessed with artificial intelligence. I'm sure you're wondering how I got here.
Hi, Tony. It's been hard trying to find a quick way to send the cash across to you. The bank is quite far from where I stay.
Girl, I'm trying to call that pop-up shop I saw on IG. I need them shoes for a party this weekend.
Wait a minute. I can solve all these problems. All I have to do is get back to my geek zone and get cracking. That's how I created this great virtual solution. Chat with me on Facebook Messenger and experience a whole new world of banking solutions without going to the bank. Make transfers, buy airtime, get account statements, and more. After all, going to the bank is boring. Like, I can't drink this delicious coffee and fill a teller at the same time. Get it?
I am almost at the end of the show. Welcome back to Keister, the Royal Talk Show. If you just walked in, I have Edleen Elba, the MD for Elba Group. Of course, she's into human resources. The accounting part she doesn't really like at all. But it is welcome back.
Thank you.
We just had a brief conversation about this, you know, what happened last year about this Awoga thing. And she was one person who actually went there, but it's not quite happy with you guys and this hijabi thing. I did beef fights all the same. But that's over and done with. But one more thing that I know you did, I thought was really good. I mean, going through your resume, was the African, is it a literacy project that you did, but it's not happening anymore. Can you tell me what that was and then why? Because, you know, when my producer, you know, picked it up, I was like, hey, I'm not going to tell him to do this. You know, and for me to find out it's not happening, I'm like, but that was super cool.
Right. So it was a pilot, and we have a report, and what we need to do really is write a project for us to get funding for us to do it again. And yeah, because of all the stuff that's going on, we haven't been able to do that. But yes, it was a beautiful project. Very good pilot. We did 500 people.
Whoa.
We had 250 market women, 125 youth, and 125 persons with disabilities. And they were learning how to read using WhatsApp. And so there's a company in the US called S6-Ep83. And we were using their platform. And basically they receive the downloads and then they learn as they go along. So it actually works. Especially if you can learn in that way. So different people learn in different ways. And we had coaches. So some people would only rely on the coach, like very rarely. Some people actually wanted to go and sit, you know, in circles with the coach and get taught using the platform. But those who could learn by themselves did very well. And, you know, I used to have conversations with market women, checking on them, like, what can you do now? Because AfriCell gave us phones and they gave us data. So we gave to them as they progressed. We would give them data. So we would call and check in on
and check in how you really are.
You know, and I remember this one, you know, that I called and I was like, so what's you able to do now? And she said, they spell pen. I said, pen? He said, yes, P-E-N, pen. I'm like, oh, wow. And
cool.
Yes, and then she says, but then people here, then they make you land back, like now midnight, where you message them and they message you back. She didn't know that it was automated, right? So she thought they were there. He said, so me I can get for the land because no, I left them because they said, then they left with. I was like, no worry, were you able no more? You're
able and do it. So why did you guys stop doing it? It's like it was a pilot.
So it was a pilot. It went on for a while. And what we need to do now is obviously get smaller groups because what we found was that it works when they're in smaller communities and they have their coaches within the area. So if we're able to design projects or programs around that, then the people who can learn in that way can continue. But it's a beautiful, beautiful project. Yeah.
It is. And I think it's needed.
Absolutely.
You know, like you said, look at the story about the woman. You know.
So they learn how to read.
Very proud to say,
learn,
you know, I mean, imagine pen.
No,
pen.
absolutely.
So that's definitely a beautiful project. Hopefully you guys are able to just map it out, and you know, and run with it. You know, be something Sierra Leone will be proud of. So now we go to Edleen, the fun part. I know we you know, we meet up sometimes and get our chill on and drink on and everything else once in a while. But it's more so with everything that you do, how are you able to just balance your time with work, spend time with your daughter, your mom? I mean, how are you able to just, you know, kind of shift it to say it's work mode and it's fun mode?
All right. So, I mean, I go to work during the day. Mommy is home. LM goes to school. When I get back, LM's window is very little because she goes to bed at 7:30.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I just realized 7:30.
Yeah.
Why?
Because that's bedtime. She needs to get.
Then she has to be up at what time?
Morning, 7. She needs to get up.
So like what, 12 hours?
Yeah, so she goes to bed and she reads for a bit before
Okay.
she sleeps. But you know, it's downtime, and she does that. Maybe next year when she's 10, she'll go to 8 o'clock or 8:30.
Look at her.
During the holidays, it's 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, so we do that window homework, what have you, which is the worst part, to be honest, because I have my own homework. I don't like doing children's homework as well, but it has to be done. And then I go back to work.
Okay.
So after everybody's gone to bed, I continue working.
Right.
Or I go out. So it all depends. And most times really out is some meeting or another.
Always
Over drinks or some event or something, right? So there is time in the day for all the bits and pieces. It's the work that's a lot, because what happens is most of the time I have all these ideas in my head and I have to bring them out. Otherwise, I'll go mad. So I always find myself doing something and find myself being overwhelmed with the work. But then I also, when my body tells me to shut down, I shut down. Right? Because I don't want my body to shut down. Right. So when
we're in the 40s. Like I always tell them, like, if I want to rest, I'll rest.
No,
everybody got to
absolutely.
wait.
I can sit there for a whole day and just play games on my phone. Like, just literally just sit. And talking about 40s, yes. Now, I'm going downhill, right? So I turn 46 next week. And I don't like 46. It doesn't sound like a nice age. I was excited about 40. And then up to 45. But now it's like downhill to 50. And I'm just like...
So you're like after 45, 46.
Yeah, 46 is just 47, 48. Those would be horrible ages. I'll probably be excited by 50 again, because I don't expect to be like working this hard and
at this age,
being so overwhelming.
We're really hoping,
you know,
when you're younger, you're thinking, by 40, by now, you know, we don't gently get poku money, but now we're here, we're still hustling. It's not fair.
Yeah. No,
I'll be 45 soon.
Yeah, right.
So now, and this always be on you. Damn. Now you don't carry remind me back, say, you'll be 46 next week and I'll be 40. No, Gen Z, big body. I'll go to that.
But we still look good, so it's okay.
No, we do.
And we feel good, so
but
it's
I feel good.
Right.
All right, but it's been really great having you here. You know, congratulations to everything that you're doing.
Thank you, and you too.
You know, thank you. You know, you started from there. Like I said, people see us and they're like, that's a left yonder for Canada. So what they don't understand is just, it feels different. It's different when you're in Sierra Leone. I would tell people, even when I leave for that month, I go, don't grumble. I would download this. As soon as we step.
Yeah.
A week later now. One for come back to your kind of
ready
noise
to go
and all this. I'm for make all my plumber at the road. It becomes really boring because I'm not fighting with anybody on the road and all this. You know what I mean? So people don't get it. So I just want people to know, okay, this is happening. You know, you're doing this, and then of course whoever wants to go into HR, you know, I'm going to ask you, what would you tell someone who wants to go into HR? And then maybe, how can we really work on this customer service thing? Like, what would you say to these people that, you know, everybody's going through their own, like you say.
Everybody is, yes.
You know, I can always tell people, even with my staff, I tell them, left on a problem I do. Because myself every day, I get me own problem. But when we're here, you know, if you see me, you know, hopping around, joking and laughing, and it's not forget me sanity.
Yeah.
Like you just say, when you're not always, you're overwhelmed with all these ideas, you want to do so much, and you come back, you can't bring your own problem with me. No, it's not gonna work. But anyways, as an expert in that field, what would you say to the Sierra Leoneans, women, men, and these people, how to deal with customers, and whoever wants to be an HR specialist, how can they go into it?
So I wouldn't necessarily focus on the HR itself. Whatever it is that people want to do, they have to focus.
Right.
They have to be committed to it. And these are things that I'm finding that we lack, right? they have to realize that it's a journey. Everything just doesn't happen immediately. Whatever it is that you say you want to do, you have to put the work in. You have to have a plan. You have to know what it is you need to do in order for you to be the best at whatever it is that you're doing.
Okay.
And one thing also that I feel that we need to be as well is a bit more self-aware. So how do we react to things, right? Because we spend a lot of time talking to each other about what other people are doing and how other people react to things without looking inward. We don't realize that we do exactly the same things that we say, people do. Like sometimes I talk about my mom and I say, you behave like you, mama. And then I think to myself, gosh, do I behave like you? I'm sure LM will tell me.
We'll tell you that, right?
Right. So look inward a bit. And then also be more aware of how people react to you. Okay? So because we go around saying all these things, treating people in the ways that we do without realizing how much we're hurting people and how much we're making their own situations worse.
Right.
So if we just take a step back and just become a bit more aware about, how we react, and how others react to us, and that could just help a lot of issues.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And love Sierra Leone, please.
Exactly. That's really important, I mean, we all got a problem there, but sometimes, like you said, just realize, say, your companies have to go through let's just be happy and be peaceful. Nobody lives my set. I have a really nice, beautiful gift for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I love gifts.
Early. Cool.
Yes, I do.
There's something in there in particular.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really cool. This time they give special award.
Oh, this
I want it right on top of your desk. As soon as
will put
people
it on
walk
my
in, they
desk.
get to see it.
I will.
And I'll be
put it
visiting
on.
your office for that.
I will. Thank you.
You're
Thanks
so welcome. I'm super
Thanks
proud
for
of
having
you.
me.
I'm
Proud
super
of you
proud
too, my doll. Proud of you too.
What we do for the birthday?
I don't know yet. After the conference, I'll think about the birthday.
All right, cool. I don't want to go, but I've got to go. I've been your host today, Edleen Keister. Till next week. Peace. Bye.